Good evening. We are gathered at the historic city of Liverpool for the next edition of the Global Indian Business Meet conducted by Horasis. And I would like to ask my distinguished panel some questions. On my left is Kaustav from the Global Indian Foundation. They run the lots of schools in India and in Asia. And we got Jason with us. He is himself a great motivator for young children. And we've got Neeraj, who's an entrepreneur and a technical expert, and he'll talk about manufacturing. Gentlemen, my question is, there's a lot of shift taking place in India. And a lot of young population building up in India. They're all very aspirational. How do we keep this population, which is very restive, meet the aspirations in this new kind of system and within the time frame that we need to do it? Jason, I'll start with you because you dealt with a lot of children and you know how restive the young children are. So tell me, how is this problem to be managed?
I think there are probably three areas in a kid's life. So one area is a family, the other area is school, and then another area is a community, including friends. So within a family is where you pick up quite a bit of your values from parents. And I think overall, on average, and of course it's a bell curve to anything, Indian parents are pretty good when it comes to injecting values. Now when it comes to the school system here, it's actually a global issue that I realize. Starting at the young age through high school, through college, a lot of the Asian schools, including India, are still quite a bit of academically focused, which is good. But I think one of the things that I'm seeing in terms of an innovation, if you will, is to start injecting more and more life skills in addition to academic skills. So rather than strictly focusing on test scores, one should start earlier and focus more on what I call EQ skills, right? The emotional, social, leadership, intelligence skills. And then when it comes to the community and friends, and one of the things that I admire about Indian American friends of mine, and a lot of them have gone back to India, and including Thai, which I think is the most spectacular and the biggest entrepreneurship association in the world for technology. And a lot of my friends are kind-hearted enough to go back and try to transfer some of the know-how that they have and try to uplift the entire community in India. I think it's a great thing.
Jason,
I think we're moving in the right direction.
I think, Jason, I agree with you what you said. We are not talking about school-going children, but if you were to just move the focus away toward the youth, when I talk about the post-school,
Okay.
and Costa, we could take this on because we're talking about India is the youngest population in the world and growing.
Indeed.
After school, and let's say the 18 to the 30 age population, how do we give them a meaningful life in the kind of environment that exists in India today?
Yes.
Any suggestion on that?
Absolutely. So I think currently the key issues or the key challenge that the Indian youth is facing is the gap between what we kind of call as the employability and the expectation of the employer. So essentially it kind of really boils down to the three E's: education, employability, and the expectations of employer. People are expecting, or the employers are expecting universities to kind of give certain skills, or the schools to kind of give certain skills, potentially based on which they would want to kind of make use of the talent that they are going to acquire. But currently what the industry is throwing back to the education institutions, saying that look, all the graduates that you are creating, you are generating, we simply cannot employ them because they don't have the necessary soft skills, they don't have the critical thinking, they don't have the creative thinking. So I think that is where we strongly believe that education is going to play a vital role. We need to kind of really change our thinking. We need to kind of really change the curriculum that currently we are using. We need to kind of integrate, impart soft skills, creative thinking, critical thinking amongst the youth, so that the ability for them to be employed by the industry significantly increases. And I think that is where the restive issues which are going to be there are going to come down.
Costa, I agree with you quite a lot. Neeraj, you talked about skills. Somehow I start feeling that skill has become such a buzzword, as if it's a panacea for all problems which can be solved. But skills without jobs, it seems to me a great dichotomy. Can you talk about it, because you are a great person who talks about how to build up the skills. How can the skills be harnessed by the country if this is to be done?
Thank you, General. I think we need to differentiate a little bit between the word education and knowledge. And coming from the industry, I personally believe that while 1 million young people in India need to be employed, that's the latest figure released by Planning Commission
1
of
million
India.
per month?
1 million per month.
Oh God.
Jobs have to be created to sustain political and other civil balances in India. That's a tall figure. But the question is, you have 1 million aspirational youth that has either received education in some form or the other. And the question, as he rightly said, is, are they deliverable? From my point of view, which is from the industry, I think there's a huge gap between what they are studying in school or institutions and what we need from the industry. So I truly believe that there's a cultural issue as well in India. And that cultural issue, as you might say, Jason, you've dealt with a lot of American Indians and Indians American. In India, parents believe that a degree is a degree and a diploma is way below the respectable level. Whereas I feel that a lot of young people should be actually doing diploma courses, which is more vocational training, which is more skill management training, and they can get jobs in the industry. But the parents keep pushing the children into, no, you've got to do a degree
Yeah,
course.
I see that.
So that's the point I'm trying to make, that that gap has to be bridged.
Jason, if I could take you on one more point,
Yes.
and you are in this field itself. Lots of children, today's youth, after getting involved with the media, seem to feel that the white collar jobs, the more banking jobs and the industry jobs, they seem to aspire for them more. So if those are in short supply, how do other children are fit into other people? The aspirations are, there's a mismatch, and people are all chasing for some areas, and you coach a lot of people. Is that the way? How do we spread this out?
That's a very broad issue here. There are two things that I'm working on. Now, first of all, one of the latest community service commitments that I started a couple of months ago is that I got selected to be a B20 Human Capital Task Force member.
Okay.
B20, we're the official representative of the global business community for the G20. So the Human Capital Task Force is one of the 4 task forces. So out of the 60 or so members, I'm one of the Americans in there. And one of the things that we're pushing, we're shaping down to the final 5 recommendations from over a dozen. And part of that is adaptability, is structural changes, is making entrepreneurship a little bit easier.
Okay.
I feel that the work of my colleagues of mine, and we all folks that are quite caring and passionate about youth, we're totally cognizant about the employability equation in India, in many parts of EU, in Turkey, and those countries. So wait until late this year, you'll see some, hopefully some good action items that are being taken.
Okay.
And we are finalizing those stuff right now, which is all good. Now the second thing that I'm working on is that my book is going to be coming out late October or November, and that is partially designed to address India as well as America and other parts of Asia, a little bit of Europe here. And you will read in a book which is designed to benefit and inspire high school students, university students, young adults, parents, and it's not only just grades or test scores. It's really about why you do what you do, stories, lessons learned, reflections and advice. And so I'm cognizant that, in fact, in the States right now, I'm also part of the education innovation community, if you will. And there's a lot of things happening, which is real good, I think. But of course, legacy systems throughout the world, it takes a long time to change.
Yeah.
Cultures take a long time to change.
I agree with you.
But as long as leaders are taking an active role with a clear purpose to try to improve the whole world, because we believe that economics will really affect the goodness of the whole.
I would ask you a question taken from Jason. Singapore, you're from Singapore dealing with that. They've got a system of compulsory service for the youth. Do you think that option, is working well for Singapore? Does it also replicate in India? You think youth should be given military training as a compulsory part of their training, and that portion should be contributed towards some skill set, and therefore the job employment should be linked to that somehow? There should be some system made by that. Is that going to help in some form? Is it doable? And do you think that's benefit?
Yes, indeed. I think military training is something that no money can ever buy. It's amazing, the national service that's there in Singapore. It kind of really helps to broaden your perspective. That helps you to kind of look at a world from a fresh perspective. You are able to kind of exchange your ideas not only with your fellow colleagues, but you are essentially kind of are being sent through the complete grind over 2 years. And I think that really helps you to kind of become much stronger human being. Potentially by spending some time in military, you are always trained to face any adversity.
Right.
I think there is no challenge that will kind of become undone for a military person. So I think yes, indeed it will be fascinating if we could kind of have similar concept in India.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving your time and dealing with this very difficult question of how to manage the aspirations of the youth of the world in general and India in particular. I think your views are very important to us, and it's very good that what you told us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks.